Welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan Lugo. Thanks so much for tuning in here on Monday, April 29th. Some pretty wild news here. Jarvis Landry, wide receiver, former Dolphin and Cleveland Brown and New Orleans Saint. He is heading to the Jaguars for rookie minicamp, according to Tom Pelissero. Not the news I expected to talk about here today, but we're going to dive into it. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you're enjoying the content here, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You can also check out genjag.com/shop, get some new Duval gear. You can also become a channel member. Y'all can check all that stuff out in the description below. Again, thank you so much for being here. So, talking about Jarvis Landry. This does not mean that he's going to make the roster or that he will be signed by the Jaguars to their 90-man roster. The Jaguars are just giving him a workout, giving him a chance to go out there and see how he looks. It's hard for me to imagine, if he is fully healthy, that he's not a top 6 receiver for the Jaguars or top 7 receiver for the Jaguars. I think they kept 7 last year. Bar none. Like, Jarvis Landry at his peak is awesome. But, he missed all of 2023 with an ankle injury. He's never been a burner. He is primarily a slot receiver. He's returned a lot of punts over the years as well. He is a yak guy. But he's 31 years old. Coming off of the ankle injury that kept him out for the entire 2023 season. In 2022 with the New Orleans Saints, he caught some passes, before he got injured, did some things for them, but didn't look like, prime Jarvis Landry. Still a decent player, but not the elite player he once was, not the great slot receiver he once was, like a yak king, a guy that would find the end zone, would fight for every yard, make guys miss in space. So it's interesting for sure. And the question really is, if he is fully healthy and if he looks like a guy that can, help your football team, do you want to keep him around and potentially risk losing a young up-and-comer for your roster for the present and the future? That's really going to be the questions the Jaguars have to ask themselves. Like, if Jarvis Landry goes out there and looks good and you're like, yeah, this is a guy that should be on an NFL roster, this is a guy that could make our team better, do you want to keep him instead of one of these other guys that can maybe contribute for a longer period of time? Maybe develop in your scheme. I think that is the question. Like, you have Christian Kirk, who's your starting slot receiver, Brian Thomas Jr. and Gabe Davis, who are your starting outside receivers. Those guys are really the locks for the roster, in my opinion. But you've also got Parker Washington, who did have some rookie moments last year, rookie mistakes, but certainly has the talent to be a slot receiver in the NFL. Zay Jones, you still have on the roster as well, who, that's a guy who belongs on an NFL roster as a wide receiver 4, in my opinion. Elijah Cooks really showed up for the Jaguars last summer. He's a guy that can continue to develop. Tim Jones is a guy they've liked for a long time. Seth Williams balled out for the Jaguars last summer in preseason. Joshua Cephas they brought in, and a couple other undrafted free agents. I think Cephas is a guy that should make an NFL roster. So again, Jarvis Landry, do you bring him up on board to potentially take the spot of one of those other guys? Maybe you just say, let the chips fall where they may. Whoever is performing the best, that's who we're going to keep. But that could be a little bit short-sighted considering he's 31 years old, considering the ankle injury, considering the fact that he probably is pretty much a slot only, and you already have a really good slot receiver, your best receiver in Christian Kirk. So again, peak Jarvis Landry is absolutely a baller, but how close is he to that right now? Again, coming off that ankle injury at 31 years old. Is he worth moving on from a young guy? Like, to me, if he's competing to make the roster, it's probably between him and Parker Washington for like the backup slot receiver, backup punt returner role, because that they have like similar skill sets. They both project. I say project. Jarvis Landry's not really a projection. We've seen him play, but they both really kind of slot in as a inside slot receiver and backup returner. So do you move on from a Parker Washington to keep a Jarvis Landry? I don't know. And again, he's not on the roster. He's just coming in for a workout, see how things look. I don't really have a strong opinion on this. I think we'll just kind of have to see how the situation plays out. We'll find out what the Jaguars think, how he looks at rookie minicamp here in the coming days. But it's an interesting story, no doubt. Like Jarvis Landry, one of the better slot receivers in his prime in the NFL, a guy who could do a lot for your football team, but where is he at right now? Can't wait to find out. I really can't. This is an interesting one. Would love to know what you guys think. Drop a comment in the comment section below. Please hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell. And if you want to support the channel further, you can check out genjag.com/shop, pick up some new Duval gear like the hat I'm wearing, or become a channel member. You can do both as well. Really appreciate y'all. Have a good one.